And we take you back to the United States, where citizens have been casting their ballots. SABC News correspondent Sherwin Bryce-Pease joins us now with the very latest. Sherwin, a bit earlier you spoke to my colleague Bongiwe and you indicated that to a certain extent voting has been progressing smoothly. How's it looking this hour?
Certainly very smooth, as is exemplified by the process unfolding behind me. And this is a process that is unfolding, Mfundo, around the United States, right? And essentially the power has moved away from the nominees, from the candidates who have been making their case now for months. And the power now rests in the hands of the voters. And so let me just explain the process that is unfolding behind me as I get out of the way here. People check in as they walk in through the entrance door. They are then verified to ensure that they are at the right precinct. It's verified based on their address. They then are handed, once that's confirmed, a ballot paper. They then go into one of those private booths that populate the perimeter of this venue. They spend some time in there. Of course, it's not just the presidential vote that is applicable here. They are voting for state senators. They are voting for state judges. They are voting for members of Congress. So there's quite a detailed ballot, quite a lengthy ballot that that is filled out. They make little marks next to the name of the candidates they are voting for. And then that ballot is taken and then deposited in one of the electronic tabulating machines to my left over here. Aaron is just panning towards them. That then takes the ballot, it scans the ballot, and it then deposits the actual paper in a holding compartment, which, if needed, can then be verified by hand count. So quite a detailed process here, but an efficient one at that. And of course, this will be a different process that might be playing itself out in states like Michigan or in places like California. Why is that? Because every state in the United States is governed by its own electoral laws. They do not have a centralized independent electoral commission akin to what we have in South Africa. And so the secretaries of state in each state have responsibility for how those processes play themselves out. So that's just the New York example, but of course various iterations around the country.
And then just unpack the Electoral College and its significance, and particularly the 270 wins that everybody keeps hearing of.
Right, and so, it's worth explaining, right, that the popular vote in the United States, as significant as that might be, does not a president make. So you can win the popular vote in the United States and you can still lose the Electoral College and therefore lose the White House. And so that makes the Electoral College one of the least popular processes in the United States, because sometimes it just doesn't give you the majority, right? The majority of people will vote for one candidate and they might not be the president, but this is the archaic system that we have in this country. And so we know that both nominees, Republican nominee Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Kamala Harris, are assured certain states based on tradition and history. So a state like New York State, for example, is going to go blue. You also know that a state like Montana, for example, is going to go Republican. And so you can bank those Electoral College votes. What you then need is to get to the 270 threshold. So you can win all the Democratic strongholds if you're the Democratic candidate Kamala Harris, or you can win all the Republican strongholds being Donald Trump, but it still doesn't get you to 270. So you need to win the purple states. You need to win a Wisconsin. You need a Michigan. You need in fact, you need a collection of the swing states to get over 270. And that's why we've been so focused, and so have the nominees, on the swing states, your Pennsylvanias, your Michigans, your North Carolinas. And in Mfundo, the earliest indication about how these swing states are going to go will be the eastern seaboard swing states like Georgia and North Carolina. That's where we're going to get the first indication of how this trajectory might pan out tonight. And so watch very closely when polls close tonight. North Carolina, Georgia, that's where the game's at.
All right, Sherwin, thank you very much for that reportage. We'll leave it there. That's SABC News correspondent Sherwin Bryce-Pease.